Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, so really quick, I wanted to touch base with you guys. I went on my first date, and it's been like a year, maybe a year and a half. Okay, so that's how long I have not dated. And I want to be very clear. I obviously can date. But there hasn't been a candidate that has crossed my path that it makes sense for me to date, if that makes sense. So I have obviously said no to a ton of people in this last year and a half. And I've been saying no because I am a woman of quality, and I stand firm in my belief that I will not date someone that takes away from the quality of my life. Like they have to add to it or at least be equal or something, but taking away from it is not an option, right? So obviously I've had males that have approached me that are not worthy of my time. Okay. And I'm a woman, as you guys know, I practice self-love wholeheartedly. I'm not perfect, but I genuinely walk in that and I embrace it, right? And it's a lifestyle, it's a mentality, right? So naturally, if this is who I am, I'm going to decline a lot of offers. One thing I've told you guys before is that quality men do not come around very often. And when I say quality, first things first, a man that has himself together. When I say together, he has his career, he has his cars, his home, whatever, right? That's the basis, right? Then as you get to know the person, obviously it's personality, it's values, morals, how you go about certain situations. And I am convinced that what I was taught by a man is that 99.9% of men are bad men. Okay, this is this is why, and this is what a man taught me. This ain't me dating 99.9% and then assuming all men are bad. This is actually what a male, a grown man that's what in his 60s has taught me. Okay. And I believe it. And I'm understanding why, because this is now the first date I've been in on a year and a half. And it blows my mind how accurate this man was about 99.9% of men not being fit for certain types of women. So when I really look at it, I'm like a year and a half. That's a long time. Like I when I was when I was a young girl, I dated all the time. But I also recognized that I didn't have anyone of quality really in my life at that time. I would say that, for example, my daughter's father, in terms of him being able to take care of himself and support a family and stuff like that, he's quality. But in terms of his personality, so that automatically that takes away from, right? Now, I've always promised myself that if I end up in a relationship, a serious relationship, he's going to be the last man that I'm with. Um So I'm sitting there messaging Cash App, right? Because this is how stupid some of these people are. And I don't know why you would put someone with low comprehension skills in a chat position, but that's fine. I'm gonna just call them and deal with it there, right? But I had a transaction. So here's a thing. Um, I had a negative balance last night, right? Of like negative $30. Okay. And part of that was because I put an order in for King Supers to pick up some groceries. And instead of charging me, they charged me once, right? And that charge was pending like any other charge. When a charge is pending, it pulls money off of your account. Um, so, okay. And then instead of charging me like the 10 cents for the bags, whoever processed the payment reprocessed the payment, okay, um, for the full amount again. So it charged my card, let's say essentially $140 was taken off my card, or a little over 140, it's 80, so like 160, right? Now, last night when I went to bed, I had a negative balance of negative 30. Okay. And I knew this because I had to wait on a transaction to clear so I could get my money back or whatever, which I don't, again, whatever. I'm sitting here trying to have a conversation with Cash App, trying to figure out what my balance is, because right now my balance is saying a positive $43. But I've used 45 of my overdraft. Keep in mind, I didn't spend any money. There's no transactions from yesterday. So I'm trying to figure out what my actual balance is. What is it, right? It's not possible that you have a cash balance for the same amount that you have an overdraft fee for, right? It doesn't make sense. Otherwise, why would, like, you're telling me I got a positive amount, but then you're telling me, hey, you used $45. Well, then should my balance say -2? It don't make sense. But apparently I'm talking to a Hector, and Hector is a male. That's number one. So he's incompetent. When I say incompetent, 9 times out of 10, he didn't read what I sent him. He didn't look at the screenshots, because I'm like, bro, it don't make sense. I mean, as a finance person, it doesn't make sense to tell someone they have a positive balance and a negative balance at the same time. That's not possible. So is it -2, or is it actually $43? Is what I'm trying to figure out. Hector, poor Hector, he don't understand or comprehend what's being said. He's actually told me that. It was obvious he didn't understand what I said. He sent me a policy for the overdraft fee, and I'm like, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking to know what my balance is. So I'm just gonna have to call them, because I need someone with more skill sets, higher level skill sets, not a Hector. Okay. Because that's crazy. He clearly doesn't understand math or how checks and balances work. I'm an accountant, so I know for a fact the math ain't mathing. Okay. And I don't care that I have an overdraft balance. It was but I know that it's not no 45, -$45. That's what I'm saying. Anywho, but I mean, if they're telling me I got cash, y'all, listen, I ain't complaining. If you telling me I got $43 cash, I'll take it. Okay. Um, Anywho, so I went on a date and I liked the guy. Okay. He doesn't know I really like him, because I'm not really like, I'm polite enough to where it's obvious. Like, he's like, yeah, like, he knows like I'm interested, but excuse me, I think that he's kind of more interested in me, which naturally should be the case if a man is pursuing you, right? If a man approaches you, you're not approaching that man. So I went on this date, and I will say this. First off, when I met the guy, he had a big black truck, and I'm a sucker for trucks. Okay. I don't want one personally, but I love men who drive trucks. And I'm not talking about like the big old semi trucks. That's not attractive to me. I get that that's a living, but I'm not, a man in his truck. I like them trucks that people like at construction sites, like them big trucks. Like my daughter's father has a truck, like, and it seems so manly when a man is in it. So it's naturally And it was a new one, like an F-150 or something like that. It was nice. So he approaches me. Okay. I guess he actually, the space that I met him in, he was over there because he had saw me from like another, side of the street or whatever. He pulls in, opens the door for me at this gas station. And I kind of ignored him because I was irritated. I'm so used to men hitting on me that it's like, I don't need you to hold my door open. Like, I get it. Okay. But I'm not going to ever say that. So I always just say thank you and keep it pushing. Well, he apparently was trying to get to, my number or whatever. And when I saw him, he's thinking he looked rough. I'm sure that could have been the case. But for me as a woman, I'm looking at the full package, right? I keep saying that all the time. It doesn't make sense for a woman to deny a man that's got his shit together. A man that doesn't have his shit together is different. Okay. And it's obvious. Okay. Based upon, again, the man came out of a fucking truck and he was driving that truck, not no passenger seat shit. Okay. So naturally, as a woman, and I know the men, it's like, well, she shouldn't, a man has money. Da, da, da. No, stability is key. So if you're coming to me with your pants sagging, hey, ma, you walking, carrying your homeless bag, bro, that's not attractive. A man that's attractive, he gonna jump out of fucking truck. You see what I'm saying? And it was a nice one. So it wasn't like a beat up Yukon or whatever. It was a nice ass truck. So naturally, as a woman, okay, you can have my digits. I mean, his approach was fine. There was nothing. And then what I like about men too, when I'm dolled up, you should be able to approach me. The fact that you can't approach me when I'm dolled up is a problem. It's a problem. I don't want a man who's that weak, right? So I recognize I was dolled up that day. I had my makeup, my dress, I looked great, okay? And that man approached me with absolutely no, he was shy about it, but he went after what the hell he thinks he wants, right? So we talk on the phone, we're texting or whatever, which I appreciate because I'm a texter. I have to know that I want to talk to you to be talking to you. Let's put it that way. So he's asking me 1,000,001 questions, right? Off the bat. That's green flags. A man should always be asking questions. Always. Always. Just like a woman should be asking questions. Okay. So every question he asked me, I asked him right back. Every single question. You gonna ask me, I guess I need to know these question answers too. And from there, we went out on a date. And I will say this. This is the first date that I've ever had where the conversation of marriage came up on the first date. What expectations are. And it never came out like, these are my expectations. This is what I expect, because there's still a lot that I'm holding back because I don't know this man, right? I'm learning this individual, okay? But one thing he talked about, he said, kids, do you want kids? I don't really know, man. I'm like, y'all ain't about to put me through no more bullshit. So we'll see, right? And I'm honest in my approach and my responses. And believe it or not, him and I are pretty similar. I mean, I understand men put on masks and stuff and whatnot, but we are pretty similar in what we want. And so when the topic of children came up, I brought up the fact that, I want to be married before I have a child or even really agree to a child. It just is what it is. And I will say, for the first time, I feel like I am beginning to attract what it is that, oh, my hair is long. It ain't long at the top. Like, not as long as I want it to be, because I be wearing my low high ponytails. But my hair is actually pretty long, though. I'm all impressed. Then I dyed it so it's blonde, but it's actually a cute blonde. So I'm loving it. But anyway, And this is a black man who, I think that the reason his ideologies are a little different, because what he told me was, he said, I'm on this date with you and I don't get no red flags. I said, that's because I worked hard. I worked hard to build myself up. Like, I don't got multiple baby daddies, right? I'm not out here just living unstable, don't got shit to my name, right? Um, I really built myself up to attract the kind of person that and then it had nothing to do with attracting the kind of person, but something we talked about is, for example, because he asked me, he said, you want a man with stability? And I said, yes, I do. Right? Yes, I do. I want a man with stability. Um, so what he said, and it's something that I know too, right? Is that a lot of women be seeking things. I don't date women, right? So I don't know what real men experience. But what he said was, a lot of women aren't really built a certain way, but they expect men to be a certain way. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, you know, I understand, wanting a man of a certain caliber, but I also know the work that is taken so that that man recognize me of being as being his peer, not his child. You see what I'm saying? And I think peer may be wrong, but an equal to him, or equally yoked, or whatever, right? So I'm gonna tell you now, this was the first time I probably had a date with a grown ass man in a very long time. And this date was innocent. It didn't make me feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I had to put out to get something. I felt like I was respected as an individual, because that's another thing he told me. He still wants me to be like any girl that he gets with. He wants them to be an individual, which, as a woman, when you love yourself, that's not even it's like, I would never be with a man that would compromise or want me to be anything other than an individual, right? I don't mind loving and nurturing and doing all that extra shit, but my career is my career. My goals in my life are still my goals, whether I'm with you or not. They don't stop. My identity is not that of a man, it's me. So for a man to tell me that's what he wants in a woman, I'm like, oh, I'm up your alley in. But I be telling women, men, not males, because there's a difference between a boy and a man. Men want women who are like me, okay? Not boys. There's a different mentality with boys where they try to convince women like me that I need them. This man is saying, listen, I don't mind, but basically what would happen, I think he's attracted to a woman that has her shit together. And if I was to minimize myself or make my identity all about him, it becomes a turnoff. All right. Because at that age, you don't want necessarily a pick me. You want somebody that you can grow with, you can build with. You don't want somebody that you necessarily have to take care of, right? He wants somebody that don't need him. Do you understand? And understands that a relationship takes time to build. A real, genuine relationship takes time. It ain't gonna happen overnight. But like he said, and I can tell, because he didn't just have the truck. When he wants something, he usually gets it. And I like that mentality, because what it tells me is Should he continue to pursue me, which he's already stated he would, um, he's going to do what he can to get me. And he's not afraid. This is what I like. He ain't simping on me. We went on a date and it was like at a sports bar restaurant kind of thing, which was actually, I didn't know about it. Because when I went, I was like, oh, I need to take my daughter here. I didn't know that that spot was right up the street. It's a cool little spot. It's almost like a Buffalo Wild Wings, but different, right? And I think that's a cool first date. You buy me a drink after work. I need it because Lord knows I'm stressed. And we had some appetizers. I really wasn't that hungry. So the appetite, like I didn't want any more food. If I wanted some more food, I probably would have ordered it. Or I'm pretty sure if I started to order, he would have paid, right? He probably wasn't planning on spending that much money. But a drink and some appetizers, why not? You know? And it didn't cost him much. And I asked him, I said, what if I came to you and was like, I want to go to one of these high upscale restaurants for a first date? He was like, I would automatically seen you as a red flag. And I know women think that that's the way to go about it, but I don't think a man should have to spend that much on you. Like as a woman, I don't know. First date, we're just getting to know each other. I don't even know that I'm comfortable hugging him, right? So yeah, spending a ton of money on me ain't the way to go. Not the first date. So, but I feel there's a lot more perks that may come with this individual because we are similar, and he has himself together and he's ready for a woman. So that was my first date, y'all. It went really well. The dude said he didn't see no flags, and I told him it ain't my representative. This is who I am, right? So I'm excited to see. It's not even just him. It's just the fact that I'm finally seeing that there are quality men out there, you know. And I've clearly built myself up for men of quality to, be attracted to me. Men are attracted to me, period, but I haven't seen the kind of man I want in a very long time. So that's what my date was, y'all. Self-love is the key. These men be trying to convince folks that that ain't the key, but it is. So the more you love yourself, the more anybody in your life has to show up loving you the same too. So that's the moral of the story. Quality attracts quality. And I said what I said. I'm out. Peace.